Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and we're going to talk about something really wonderful, a huge goal that Matthew Mercer achieved for the Dungeons & Dragons community recently, which gives me great hope, and I'm very excited about. So I won't bury the lead. I'll explain what it is. So, unfortunately, I think data leaks are unfortunate. We got a bunch of information about Twitch. And actually, just what's really astounding to me is, like, there was a Twitch leak, right? And honestly, we've been talking about it in the TPRG corner, but this had nothing to do with tabletop role-playing games, right? And honestly, I will say this too. I feel really bad for Matthew Mercer that his salary was doxed, essentially, right? It's terrible, right? Now, I am talking about it now, and the reason why I'm talking about it now is this data is public, right? And there's a huge conversation that's happening within tabletop role-playing game community, and the reality is I wish we had a culture that respected privacy and those kind of things, but we don't, right? Like, and the reality is, I care deeply about Dungeons & Dragons, and Critical Role is all up in Dungeons & Dragons business. They are bound, like, Dungeons & Dragons and Matthew Mercer. By the way, in my opinion, Matthew Mercer is Critical Role. I think you could replace all the other parts and it would be the same. I don't think Critical Role goes forward without Matthew Mercer. I think they detach him. Critical Role folds in a month. That's my take. I could be wrong. Tell me if you think I'm wrong on that, right? But so there was this big Twitch leak, right? And we got to know that, Critical Role made $9 million on Twitch, right? So, but one of the things we found out was that was the most anybody made on Twitch, right? So, like, and get this, Twitch was not built for Dungeons & Dragons. Twitch has a very specific community. When you say Twitch, you know what people think? They think video games. Well, guess what? Matthew Mercer, like, got in his let's say Critical Role is a vehicle, okay? Here's what happened. Matthew Mercer got in his Critical Role Lamborghini and he dusted the video game industry Ford Fiesta. Just left it in the dust. Like, and like he was halfway, across the quarter mile before before the Ford Fiesta was really even rolling, right? Like, he crushed. Matthew Mercer defeated every single tabletop role, he defeated every single video game creator on Twitch. That is huge, right? And Matthew Mercer outperformed every single video game streamer on a platform that was built from the ground up for the video game streamers, right? So Matthew Mercer beat the video game streamers at their own game. Why is that important for Dungeons & Dragons? Well, I'll tell you right now. I'm J. Scott Garibay, right? And Scott Garibay, and I have goals for Dungeons & Dragons. My goal for Dungeons & Dragons is that Dungeons & Dragons will be played more than the number one video game in the world, right? Which right now I think is Fortnite, maybe Call of Duty, right? I want every single video game in the world, right, to be behind Dungeons & Dragons in play, right? And the reason why is that's where they belong. Video games, in my opinion, are fundamentally subordinate, fundamentally inferior to what Gary Gygax created in 1974. And the reason why is I think if you pour yourself into Dungeons & Dragons, you will come out a better person. And I think I know for a fact that if you pour yourself into a video game, you will not come out a better person. That is a very hard fact in my opinion. And I've seen a lot of evidence to it, right? No question, right? And if you found a lot of people who were like, just really, really get into and make video gaming their main thing, and they became better people from that, point them out to me, like, if they're public figures. Don't point to a private citizen. And I certainly will take your stories of that. If you were say, hey, I have a friend, no names, right? But and video game really helped them, right? But I'll tell you right now, I've seen it. I saw a dude lose his marriage to get another. I saw a dude lose his marriage, right? The woman he said he would love forever, right? He's like, I did say I would love you forever. I made a vow publicly for that, but I really want this 80th level World of Warcraft character. And I'm like, whoa, and I'll tell you right now, I ain't never seen anybody get divorced over Dungeons & Dragons, right? It doesn't happen. They are fundamentally different. So here's the thing. I want Dungeons & Dragons as a game to defeat the number one video game in the world, right? That hasn't happened yet. But guess what? Matthew Mercer just showed it's possible. It is possible. He rolled up on a video game streamer's paradise and thoroughly defeated every single video game streamer there was. Just, embarrassed them on their own home court. Every single one. That gives me incredible hope. I am really, really excited about that. And it says, and my goal now, a lot of people say this, like, Scott, how could you have goals for Dungeons & Dragons? You don't own it, right? Well, here's the thing. Gary Gygax made Dungeons & Dragons, right? And in 1986, he cracked it off from himself. And he said, this is bigger than me, right? And in 1997, Lorraine Williams, after doing 11 years of spectacular guardianship and really, growing the brand and making Dungeons & Dragons incredibly valuable and making it a better game than Gary Gygax had ever made it, okay? Making it better than Gary Gygax had left it with her, right? She said, she cracked it off and said, Dungeons & Dragons is bigger than any corporation, right? So, I, as a D&D community member, I have goals for the game. And what I do is I communicate them to whoever owns Dungeons & Dragons at the current time. Now, I'm super down with WotC. I really like what Wizards of the Coast is doing with Dungeons & Dragons, right? But I'll be with Dungeons & Dragons if Hasbro decides to sell it. Whoever gets it next, I'll be there. And as long as they don't, just really do terrible things to the game, I'll support them, right? My first loyalty is always to Dungeons & Dragons first, okay? Excuse me. And I think Dungeons & Dragons, as it moves forward and continues to be just an incredible life path, every edition of Dungeons & Dragons honors Gary Gygax and pushes back honor through time to him at the year of his death, which was 2008. It was a great loss, right? But so 1974, Gary Gygax shows he shines like the sun, right? And everybody sees this guy's going places. He's creating things, right? 2008, he leaves our world, and all that we have now is his legacy. And every version of Dungeons & Dragons builds that legacy. And it is my goal for the game that it will surpass every single video game in the world, and it will actively steal players from video gaming, right? I want video gaming to shrink, and I want Dungeons & Dragons to grow. And a lot of people listen to my opinions on Dungeons & Dragons and say, Scott, you're wrong, right? But I look for evidence that I'm right, and Matthew Mercer just produced evidence that I am right, right? When it comes to, do you want to watch somebody play Smash Bros, or do you want to watch somebody play Dungeons & Dragons? The answer is, I want to watch somebody play Dragons when you ask Americans. That's huge. I am so thrilled about this, and it really gives me hope that my dreams, my goals for Dungeons & Dragons are going to be accomplished in my lifetime, or perhaps in one of my children's lifetime. We'll see. All that's my opinion. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking, subscribing, and have a wonderful, wonderful millennium.